Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, the headlines of music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm your host, Wellington Burns. I'm joined by a special guest, Zach Schroeder, host of the Morning Sports Take on Fox Sports Pensacola 101.1 FM. Thank you so much for being on, man. It's a pleasure. Listen to you every morning.
Man, it's an honor to be on your podcast. I appreciate you, man, and I'm looking forward to diving into some of the topics you got in store today.
Absolutely, man. And obviously, this is a life lessons segment episode, and it's something I've been doing recently. We're just interviewing different people, different
Yeah.
broadcasters, entrepreneurs, athletes, and coaches. But to start off with things for you, like what was kind of your motivation to pursue sports broadcasting? Because obviously you're very active. I mean, I saw you at the Orlando Magic game a couple of nights ago. Obviously, interviewing a lot of people. But like, what was kind of your motivation to start into that field?
My motivation, man, that's a great question. Honestly, part of it, as far as the broadcasting side of it, was my family. My grandfather, Papa Don Schroeder, he did it here in Pensacola and in other markets, really
Wow.
for his whole career. That's kind of what he was known for. So him doing that was really my motivation, I guess you could say, to get into it.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I loved basketball, man. Like I grew up, I played high school basketball. I could have pursued college ball. Maybe my friends would argue or debate that, but
He'll be like, that's
I,
Cap.
yeah. But man, I love basketball. I love sports, and I love
Yeah.
the community behind it. And
Yeah.
that really ties into as far as just growing my network from a young age and just, from that aspect. But I love how sports brings people together,
Yes, it
like
does.
you can be any race, you can be any political side, whatever. But, let's say you and I are both a Saints fan or whatever.
Hmm.
We can unite through that. We can both agree on, man, this team sucks this year, man. What do we got to do to solve this problem? Or,
Wish we
man,
could bring
we're
back
going to
Drew
the Super
Brees.
Bowl. Exactly, man. So that's really my motivation for this is one, I love sports. I love the community behind it. I love how
Yeah,
it brings people together. And throw in how my family was involved in broadcasting and really still is to this day. That's really my motivation.
that's awesome, man. And that's interesting, like the family aspect of it, of somebody who already was in your family that was doing it like that. That definitely plays a role into it. But
Yeah.
that kind of adds answers to my question about like were there any like broadcasters, but besides family members, were there any other sports broadcasters? Because I like grew up listening to like Mike Francesca, Chad Brillante, like Colin
Yeah.
Coward, Jim Rowe. Like that's what I went to bed listening to. All those guys were there any like guys in that field that you looked up to?
Okay, you're throwing in Chad there, the local guy. See it? Yeah, man. Colin. One guy who I loved, and these are well-known mainstream guys, but Kevin Harlan is
Oh my
just
goodness. Oh,
awesome.
so good. You met him, right?
I did.
How
I
was
did meet him.
that?
Dude, it was, I don't even know how to describe an angelic experience, man. I
Yeah,
don't even know how
he's
to
awesome.
describe it. Like, because, okay, I was covering the Super Bowl throughout Super Bowl week, and there was a Las Vegas station 2 tables down from where we were set up. And we were kind of winding down. It's a Wednesday afternoon. Most of everybody had left. And I hear this voice. I'm sitting at our table and I hear it. And it's like, that's got to be Kevin. There's no other voice in the world
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
sound remotely close to that. So I look to my left and he's sitting there. He's kind of got his hands like this. And I'm
Mm.
looking, to the side of him. So I'm like, is that him? Like
Is that
he's got
Kevin?
grayish hair. He's got grayish hair. He kind of looks like him. So I stand up, I go over there, and I see past his face. He puts his hands down, and it's Kevin Harlan.
Wow.
I kind of just freak out internally. I'm like, okay, deep breath. That's like my goat of broadcasters ever.
Yes.
So I walk over there, and Kevin, he's got like a manager or whatnot, kind of managing his time, his interviews with all these stations. And I chop it up with him. It was a guy from Michigan and whatnot working with him. And so I just stood there for about 5, 10 minutes to let Kevin finish up his thing. He finished up his thing with the Las Vegas station and he got up and, uh, his agent or whatever said, Kevin, I want to introduce you to someone. This is Zach Schroeder with Fox Sports Pensacola. And he was quite literally the nicest person I'd
Wow.
probably ever met. He
That's
was like, man,
incredible.
Zach, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. And he was like, where are you from? And I was like, Pensacola. And he's like, I called a boxing match there. It was Roy Jones Jr. and someone
Yeah.
else that he mentioned. So it was super cool. We just talked about our hometown, how Kevin had been to Pensacola,
Yeah.
been to the Bay Center, stayed at the Grand Hotel before, it was run down now and just,
Mm.
anyway. But man, very cool to meet him and hearing his voice in person, just can't even describe it. But man,
I think
he's
back to that
awesome.
moment. Yeah, I think back to that moment where he said
Yeah,
LeBron James showing no regard for human
yeah,
life. I was just like, oh
with no
gosh,
regard for human life.
so
Yeah,
so many moments, man. Oh
yeah, man,
goodness,
so many.
yeah.
But he's definitely up there. Man, Mike Breen, you can't go wrong with him.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that because like that
Yeah.
game 7, I always go back to that Golden State Cleveland where he said
Yes.
where he blocks Lee. When I was like, block by James. Like he's just
Yeah.
like, and then obviously the double bang with Curry against OKC. Like
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah, man. So,
Yeah.
those two are probably up there in my Mount Rushmore. If those are strictly broadcasters, though, you mentioned Colin Cowherd. I
Oh yeah,
love
I
some
wanted to say that. Yeah, I wanted to say that because like switching to like commentating and analyzers, like when we think about, because I mean, obviously Stephen A. He's the king of the hill when it comes to ESPN. He's obviously very
sure.
well known. Nick Wright, a guy I really like
Yeah.
watching. Trying to think of another guy, but I mean, those are some like the main stars. Shannon Sharp is like kind of like blown up, blown up crazy in a crazy way.
For
Like
the right or wrong reasons. Yeah.
right or wrong, like getting all the messy interviews. But like, what do you think about the direction of like analyzers, like current, like because obviously podcasters are a big deal. JJ Redick, he's a podcast return coach. Like, what do you think about like sports media currently?
Sports media, it's interesting. It's changing for
Yeah.
sure because I work with a radio station and I've had to kind of adjust to where sports media is shifting or really already has shifted to more of a digital platform.
Oh yeah.
We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have
Yeah.
all these different platforms now. So when I look at my field, my industry, or radio stations across the world, if you're not incorporating a social media presence at all
Hmm.
to what you're
Oh,
doing,
that's an issue, man.
it's tough. It's really tough to succeed in whatever market you might be in. So that's one of my big missions now is, scaling what I'm doing here in Pensacola. And, if I do host a morning sports show, it is a radio show, but it's always a goal of mine to capture that product
Hmm.
and distribute it to social media platforms. So you ask me what do I think about sports media right now? It's changing, it's evolving. And
It
if you
is,
don't
man.
evolve with it, you're going to get left in the dust.
It-
So,
It's so true. I mean, one of my favorite podcasters, Bill Simmons.
yeah,
He like, do you listen to Bill Simmons?
not too often, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but he like he was so opposed to TikTok he didn't want to do it, but then he like his nephew was like he's like, okay, Kyle, turn on the TikTok camera. Like whenever he's about to do it like a
Yeah,
viral clip, like he just you have to adjust to it. Even me, like when I started doing TikTok clips, like that's when I got more traction. And I feel like that you got to run with the tide. I mean, it's
yeah.
constantly evolving, constantly changing. Is there a favorite like is there a sports show like around the horn? I love Pardon the Interruption. I don't know if you are. I'm a big Pardon the Interruption. Is there like
Yeah.
a sports talk show that like that's your favorite currently?
Currently, my favorite man. I love Two Pros and a Cup of Joe in the morning. That
Yeah,
one's
that's a good
good.
one.
Fox Sports related.
Good one.
Cavino and Rich. I know Rich Davis. Pretty personally. I met him over in New
Yes.
Orleans at the Super Bowl. That was cool. Had him on the show. And he's kind of like a mentor of mine. He's just there to help. I love that show. Kind of more
Yeah.
from a personal reason. Here's one. You mentioned broadcasters and you mentioned some ESPN guys, but after further review, Matt Moscano,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
the
Yeah.
LSU guy.
Yeah.
Um, I've also had him on, and very, very cool guy. Just very direct with what he says. His takes are always interesting. I love the broadcasters who just kind of get not wild with their takes, but they get energetic and excited about it.
Yes.
And he's definitely in that category. Uh, but those are a few. I mean, Dan Patrick is
Oh man,
a
Dan
great
Patrick is
one.
so good, man. He's so
For
good.
me, working with Fox Sports, I primarily follow, the Fox Sports shows just because that's what I kind of hear every day,
Hmm.
with what's within our programming. But Dan Patrick has awesome guests. Doug Gottlieb, another Fox Sports guy, he's
He's
very
good.
intelligent when it comes to what he's speaking about. Colin Cowherd, you mentioned him earlier. He is interesting take sometimes. Like the
Yeah,
Bill
I'll
Simmons,
say
LeBron,
yeah,
or
yeah,
Ben
like
Simmons
the Ben Sim, yeah, he has some extreme takes at times where he uses these
for sure.
analogies which are great, but I mean it's also like sometimes I just don't agree with him. I'm not on this. It's very left field left field types of
Yeah.
takes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But I mean, those are some of the major ones I follow for sure. Definitely some or most fall under the Fox Sports catalog, but ESPN's got a lot of great pieces too. And I know there's so many people I left out, but those are just a few
oh
to
yeah, I definitely get that.
name.
Getting into our next topic, like, is there a certain part of your job that like that's the most exciting? I mean, obviously you talked about meeting Kevin Harlan. Like, what part of it every day, like, do you just love the most? Obviously, you get to talk about what you love, but is there a certain part of it that you kind of like are really excited about when you do it every day?
Every day. Yeah, man, that's a great question. There's certain things that I get most excited about. It would be
Yeah.
like covering a game.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
I don't cover a game every day, but like covering the Orlando Magic,
Yeah, that's
being
dope.
on the floor, just looking around at 20,000
Seeing Trey
fans, it's
Young.
just exactly right there. Paolo walking right by me, or all these
Yeah.
guys, Coach Mose, who'll lock eyes with me and just like, nod his head. And I'm just like,
What,
yeah,
Coach?
man, go win this game, man. But it's every day it's honestly just connecting with people. I love Pensacola. I'm born and raised here, so it's really just connecting with the people of Pensacola. Um, Obviously, it's basically impossible to connect with everyone, but you know, for me being from Pensacola, I definitely want to be like a voice for Pensacola moving forward, and
Yeah. I was
I
gonna
want to
ask
be
that. I was gonna ask that, like, how is that like? How does that feel like? Because I was born and raised in Pensacola, like having that like that mantle of like being like a voice of the sports in Pensacola.
well. It it's a weight, I guess you could say. It's definitely like pressure, but at the same time, when it comes to sports are just about having fun, right? It's
Yeah.
about letting loose. It's about
Yeah.
stepping away from all the other uh, BS that people get
Exactly.
involved with. Honestly,
Literally, I love
like
that.
as I spoke with earlier, it's like it's bigger than your political side or whatever,
Yeah.
association, affiliation. It's bigger than race, all that stuff. It's just sports is something that you can dive into. Um, and just have fun with. Like at the end
Hmm.
of the day, like basketball, it's about putting a ball in a basket. Football, it's just about scoring a touchdown,
Yeah.
having fun with your buddies. That's really what I love to get into is sports provides that. Like for me, as
Hmm.
far as, connecting with people, it's just, fun at the end of the day. But, um, man, you asked me two questions. I'm thinking in
Oh
two,
yeah, I'm sorry. I did a
you're
double.
good,
Yeah,
man. You're good.
I was kind of talking about like because like I'm just thinking like how is it for you? I mean, like when you're just like out and about, because it's like, yo, like, do you get people like, yo, you're Zach Schroeder? Do you get that, or is it just like, you know what I mean? Like, you're that guy. You know what I mean? I haven't gotten that, but some people notice it because I mean, I'm not as big as you are. But like, did you ever get that sometimes, where you're just like in a coffee shop, you're trying to chill, like, yo, are you that guy? I don't like your take.
I do get it sometimes. Yeah, it's whenever my station, I guess, I've been put on a few billboards in town. That's what I primarily
Yeah,
get it from
yeah,
because they'll see me. It's like, yo, man, I saw your sign or whatever. I'll have, people just on Facebook randomly hit me up. But yeah, man, I don't really like to, the, it's easy for that to get in people's heads, I guess, and
oh
get
yeah, it's
prideful about it almost.
dangerous. Yeah.
But at the same time, like me, I'm a young guy. Um,
How old are
and my
you?
goal really is, you wouldn't believe me if are you, I'm coming on 20 here soon.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Bro, you
man.
are killing it, man. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
appreciate it, man.
That's
No, I got
amazing.
into it. I got into it early. I've been in it for about a year and a half. I know we'll get into that here in a bit. You were going to
Yeah.
ask me that, but um, yeah, it's just awesome. It's really cool. But whenever someone does tell me that, I just make sure that I'm appreciative. And yeah, I wouldn't say I'm that big yet, though.
I know.
So
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. When I'm driving down, where I see this guy on the billboard. I mean, that is a nice look. That definitely is a nice look. But before we go to
I
break,
appreciate it.
though, I'm seeing like a lot of former athletes get into podcasting, or even current ones. Like obviously the Kelsey brothers. You know, I love their
Yeah,
show. You see Gilbert Arenas. He has his. Just a lot of athletes. Like what do you think about the current like Draymond? Like what do you think about the current athletes still having a podcast? Like do you think sometimes it can be a distraction, or do you like even Paul George, he had to like step away from it because he said like, hey, I don't want this to become such a big thing where I'm people are like, oh, you're focused on the podcast more than you are the sport. Like do you think like what are your thoughts on a current athlete having a podcast as well?
it's definitely strange. My mind goes to kind of like a Micah Parsons with
Yeah.
his, or even a Cam Jordan with Off the Edge. There's several players out there, basketball, NFL, any sport really, but it's not like you can really do anything about it unless the NFL or NBA wants to say like, listen,
Yeah, you
like
can't do
you just can't
anything.
do this, which is just it wouldn't make sense. I
It
feel
doesn't
like
make it, that's free will.
it's
It
free
should
will,
not. Yeah.
exactly, exactly, and it's just that's the ease of access that social media has provided to everybody nowadays, which is going back to the shift and the evolution of sports media because now
Yes.
it's like these current
Anybody
athletes are
can do
going on.
it.
Exactly, exactly. So even during the season, when like athletes are doing it, I just not a fan because they'll have sometimes other athletes on from other teams, and then they'll say stuff about certain teams. So I feel like it's a dangerous road to go down because you can easily cause or
Distraction.
create enemies in
Yeah.
a locker room. It's just kind of unnecessary to my eyes, but at the end of the day, what can you do? It's
Yeah.
free will, social media.
Yeah.
What can you do?
What can you really do? But I can't believe I even didn't ask about what do you think about Pat McAfee? Are you a Pat McAfee fan?
He's interesting.
He's
He's
really interesting.
very
The guy with
interesting.
the tank top.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I love the energy he brings.
Yeah.
He was very. He just kind of blew up,
That's
right?
what I'm
I
saying. He came
mean,
out of nowhere because like I saw him and then a couple times I'm like, oh, he's got like one of the biggest shows, in
yeah,
sports. Yeah.
yeah. Well, obviously ESPN picked him up and all that, but he brings interesting guests. He's got kind of that like that
Got
crew.
LeBron. Got the LeBron interview. That's as big as
Yeah,
it gets.
yeah. That was interesting with him and Stephen A. That whole conflict
What did you
there,
think
but
about that? What did you think about the beef between LeBron and Stephen
dude,
A?
it's.
Crazy.
I don't even know. I mean, it's like it's just petty.
It
It's
is
just
petty.
really petty.
I'll say this: like LeBron is very petty. He can say whatever he wants to. That Stephen A. Doing the show right after Stephen A.'s first take show is
Yeah,
like that. Those are petty wars. Like it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go on your show. Like I'm gonna go on your show right after you, and then be like completely unload the clip. He like went after Brian Windhorst. I was like, Brian Windhorst is like championing you for years. He just went at all these
yeah,
guys. So I'm like, they like you, and he just like
yeah.
went after. That was crazy. But
Well, yeah. Well, it boils down to like Bronny, even his son.
oh yeah, for
It's just
sure.
like for me, it's annoying because like Bronny's in the league. He's on an NBA team because LeBron's his dad and he plays
Oh, for sure.
basketball. Like he averaged 5 points at USC. You don't deserve a
It's
spot on a
nepotism. It's
starting
definitely
roster.
nepotism.
Exactly. So it boils all the way down to that.
Yeah.
And why is he getting minutes? Because LeBron's his dad. And
Exactly.
then he's got the guts. And then LeBron has the guts to walk up to Stephen A during like right after a game
Like in the
and
middle of the game. It actually
confront
was in the it
him.
was in the third quarter. It was in the third like yeah.
Right, right. And confront him. And it's just like, dude, it's just you're doing too much, man. It's like I don't know if it's for attention or he obviously truly cares about it because it's his son, but that's his job. What is Steven supposed to do?
Yeah,
He's in sports media. He's supposed to not attack him personally, but to analyze what he sees on the court, and what he sees on the court is trash. He's just saying it how it is.
for sure.
So
I definitely
I
agree.
don't know.
We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.